Hi, my dog came to you guys for training, and I love all the knowledge you guys provide about dogs. I live in a development, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't have control of their dogs. Just yesterday, I was walking my dog, and we were passing one house when a dog came running, barking, and growling all the way from the back to the front yard where we were, and it was too late, and we were already too close. Although I tried to pull my dog away, but since the dog was coming for him, I just dropped his leash, and they fizzled out. Was this correct? Do you have any other tips on how to handle when your dog is having another dog run at it or attack it? I just want him to be safe when we go on our walks, and unfortunately, I can only control him. Please let me know, and thank you so much. So she's saying, so when like the only thing she could do when the dog was coming, she just dropped her leash?
Yep.
Okay. That's actually probably really good.
There you go. Why is that really good, Josh?
Because as we were talking about in the last question, it was less stress intervention. What do you call it? Stress tension, I guess, on the leash.
Yeah.
And the dog could get away to a safe area.
She let the dogs figure it out.
Yeah.
Right? And again, now, getting back to it, right? Okay, so off-leash dogs, right? It's the age-old conversation of what the hell do I do if I run into off-leash dogs, right? Obviously, I look at this as there are three options, right? Option one is proactive. The best offense is a good defense, right? So when you live in a neighborhood for a while, you know who has dogs, you know where those dogs live, you know if those dogs are in the front yard, in the backyard, if they're off leash, if they're on leash, if they're reactive, if they're not reactive, right? You get a feel for the neighborhood. If you go to a park, you generally know what parks are parks where people don't follow the leash laws and which ones people are very respectful of. If you go to a new park, as you spend your first 3 or 4 minutes there, you could be very observant of your surroundings and notice, oh, there's a pack of off-leash dogs all the way over there. Maybe I just don't walk in that direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or, this is a really, really tight, narrow trail. That might be a little dicey, if there's other dogs on it. I don't have anywhere I can go, et cetera, right?
Yeah.
So step number one is your best offense is a good defense, right? I tell people all the time, there are places I take my dogs, and there are places I do not take my dogs, and should I be able to take my dogs everywhere I want to and walk on every trail that I want to and walk past every off-leash dog that I want to and have that owner not be a nuisance to me? Yes, but is that real life? No. Yeah. And some people get so mad when I tell them that, like owners, they get so frustrated. Like, why shouldn't I be able to do that? I'm like, I get it. I understand the frustration, but it's like your option is either you go into that situation and you just run the risk of bad things happening and stressing your dog out and making your dog's problems worse, or you just avoid them and just say, I'm going to live to fight another fight, Thing number two is if you can't avoid it, right? Best offense is good defense, but you missed something, right? Dog ran out of somebody's house. Dog, whatever. Didn't catch that dog around the corner. Whatever it may be, right? And a dog is coming at you, and you see it coming at you before it ever gets to you. Our number one job is don't let contact actually happen, right? So that means do whatever you need. Excuse me. Jesus Christ. It's this fucking coffee I'm drinking. That's 6 o'clock. Do whatever you can do to make sure that dog doesn't make contact with your dog, right? Some people will carry things with them, pet correctors, small little air horns, a walking stick, something like that to deter that other dog, and be firm about it, right? If an off-leash dog is running at you, I'm not worried about accidentally hurting the other dog if I kick it to get it away from me. I'm worried about protecting my dog from, one, a bad experience, and two, potential physical injuries if this dog is actually trying to attack them, right? So do whatever you need to do to make that threat go away. And this is the cool thing, is if that situation happens, you handle that threat. You don't let contact be made, and you're firm about it, and your dog sees you handle that. You want to talk about gaining fucking brownie points with your dog, and your dog starting to see you as a little bit of a BA, which is a badass, that's going to do it.
Yeah.
Right? Your dog's going to start trusting that you're going to handle these things for them, especially if you have a reactive dog, right? So that's step number 2, is don't let contact be had. Now, step number 3, all of our management protocols have failed. We didn't do a good job with best offense is a good defense. We didn't catch the dog running at us ahead of time. The dog is now suddenly 3 feet away from us, about to make contact with our dog, and there's nothing I could do to deter that dog then in that moment. This person did the best possible thing you could do, which is we have now moved from we're going for a walk and we're doing exposure work to other dogs and keeping threats away to we are actively engaged in a social right now. Right? And when you are actively engaged in a social, what are the rules? No on-leash greetings, no barriers pulling the dogs away, creating tension, no petting the dogs, no giving treats to the dogs, no talking to the dogs, right? We're supervising, we're waiting for the owner to come out to gain control over their dog, get them, and under 99% of situations at that point, if you just step back, even if there's a 2-second little squabble like we just talked about of like, oh my God, you just ran at me and I'm going to kind of correct you for it, under most circumstances, it's not going to be a massive problem. And here's my logic behind that. The type of people that are so irresponsible with their dog that they let them off-leash run at other dogs, or they don't check and see if the front door is latched before they close it, et cetera, those type of people generally are that way because their dog is not aggressive.
Yeah.
Because they feel like because my dog is friendly, I should just be able to get away with doing whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
And though it's a shit mentality to have, it's a little bit of a relief sometimes to know that, that if you do just drop that leash, the probability of that dog just attacking your dog is pretty slim. It's not zero. It's not zero. There are definitely situations where it can happen still. And you do have to be mindful of that. If you do that and then a fight does break out, then you obviously need to know what to do then at that point, which at that point, if the other dog has a collar on, let your dog fight, obviously, but gain control of that other dog. So put a leash around its neck, pick straight up, cut off air supply if it's latched onto your dog. Gain control over that dog then at that point. But there's no perfect way to handle all these types of situations. But generally speaking, that's going to be kind of the route you want to go down with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So quick thinking, actually, on her part.
Quick thinking. Yeah. And that was a great, that most people don't think to drop the leash. Most people, the dog makes contact and then they get stressed out and turn and start trying to pull their dog away, which that's what creates the fight. Because you put your dog into a little bit of a panic. There's all this stress from the leash. And if that other dog is running at you, even in a little bit of like a predatory state of mind, that's going to cause that dog to just fucking go for it.